Hello there, I'm Nick DeFederico with MB Capital Solutions.
And I'm Michael Strasser with Alpha Funding.
And welcome to MBAlpha, a new training program to show you how to go and 100% fund your deals, the acquisition, the rehab, the holding, true 100% funding so that you can hold on to your cash and go do more deals.
This program is really exciting. What we're going to be teaching you is how to take back your financial freedom, not rely on anybody else but yourself to get your deals done. You want to purchase a property, fix it, flip it, rent it, all those other things. This is a great way to leverage the capabilities of MB and Alpha in order to do just that.
What we're going to go over today is showing you how to blend leveraging unsecured business funding with the power of hard money lending to, again, go 100% fund your full deal. What is MBAlpha? MBAlpha is an innovative new program that we've carefully curated over the past couple of years to be able to show investors how to actually 100% fund your deals. Acquisition, rehab, holding costs, true 100% funding by blending unsecured business funding and hard money lending to go out there and take advantage of more opportunities. Hold on to your cash and leverage MBAlpha.
MB and Alpha have spent years trying to figure out the perfect way to blend this, and that is what we're going to work on today. We need to give financial freedom back to you and make sure that you only have to rely on yourself in order to get things done.
MBAlpha is funding for all aspects of your fix and flip transaction from the very beginning, whether it's your EMD, down payment, full purchase price, the rehab amount that you need to rehab the property, and then including all holding costs. So monthly debt service, overages, everything that you need for your deal can be 100% funded.
At Alpha Funding, what we do is we typically fund a portion of your purchase and 100% of your rehab. So what are you going to do to get the other funds you need in order to close? That's where MB is going to come in. They're going to come in and help you find the other dollars you need in order to get to closing without going out and having to ask your uncle, your brother, your aunt, or anybody else for the money.
Exactly. Let's build you up with your own personal capital and hold on to your cash. MB Capital will help facilitate the acquisition of the rest of the funds. These are not second position loans or lines of credit. This is your own working capital in your business name that you can use to fill in the gaps. If Alpha is going to give you 80% of the purchase price, leverage our funds to 100% fund the purchase price. Leverage our funds for the down payment money. Leverage our funds for the rehab cost. Anything you need cash for in the flow of your deal, you'll be able to leverage using MBAlpha.
Alpha Funding is a private hard money lender that was founded in 2007, and we've been lending to real estate investors to purchase properties, fix and flip houses, do their term rental loans, and even build brand new houses from the ground up. We're here to help you figure out our side of the puzzle in figuring this MBAlpha solution. This is how we're going to help you. Let's talk a little bit about how a hard money loan works at Alpha. At Alpha, what we're typically going to do is give you 80% of the purchase price and 100% of the rehab. We're going to look at an example of a loan right now. Borrower purchased a property for $325,000 and had a rehab budget of $85,000 and an after repair value of $525,000. On this deal, Alpha gave 80% of the purchase price and 100% of the rehab. But borrower had to come up with 20% of the purchase price, which is $65,000, and all of the estimated closing costs, which are around $15,000. So final cost to closing for this borrower was $80,000. What we want to figure out is how to get you that $80,000 so that you can walk into this deal without having to use anybody else's money but your own.
Awesome example, Mike. This client that needed that $80,000 of the down payment and closing cost money was able to come to us before he had the deal in hand, where we were able to secure him $100,000 worth of a line of credit. He was able to use that line of credit as the down payment money, as the closing cost money, to truly 100% fund this acquisition. Not only that, he had an extra $20,000 left over on the line of credit to service the debt, any holding cost, overages. This way, he truly didn't have to tap into any of his own cash. Imagine the power of 100% funding your deal. Having the ability to hold on to your cash so that when other opportunities pop up, you still have cash to be able to take advantage of them. We work with real estate investors all across the country, and what we've realized is those who have access to liquidity tend to find and can do more deals. So the more access that you have, the more tools you can build in your funding toolbox, the more you can combine MB Capital with Alpha Funding, the more deals you can go successfully complete.
All right, so let's take the last example we just had of that hard money loan, and let's look at it as a BRRRR loan. Buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. So if we take that same deal and we look at it from the perspective of refinancing it, what you see is we had that same purchase of $325. We've now done the $85,000 worth of rehab, right? And we now have an end value of $525,000. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift over. We're gonna say, hey, this property can be rented out for $4,000 a month. Their insurance and taxes are approximately gonna be $433 a month. And with that information put together, we're gonna look at a payment of about $3,322 a month. That gives us a DSCR, a debt service coverage ratio, of approximately 1.35. So what does that mean? That means that we're making 0.35, we're making 35% on top of what it costs in order to service all of the debt as well as the taxes and insurance. So now, on the refinance, if you get a loan for, let's say, 75% of the property, you're gonna get 75% of that new $525,000 number. So what that means is after you pay off your hard money loan, which was $345,000, which we saw just before, you're gonna be able to walk away getting back $48,750. Now, the hard money loan that you took already, as well as this refinance, was all done with none of your own money, but your own money. This is money that you raised for yourself, that you got through your own business lines of credit, through MB. You did this whole transaction start to finish without having to ask anybody else for a single dollar.
And the beautiful part, when you take that cash and pay down the line of credit, you don't lose access to it. So when the next deal pops up, you can tap right back into that line of credit and go facilitate another deal. Now let's talk a little bit more about MB Capital and how we can help facilitate the rest. Who is MB Capital? MB Capital specializes in unsecured business lines of credit. Essentially, we leverage personal credit to get funds in your business entity name that you can go out there and use for anything that you want. These are your funds. These are not my funds. These are in your business name that you can leverage over and over again. We started back in 2009 and we help real estate investors all across the country. 90+% of our clients are real estate investors. Most of my team are also real estate investors. So not only do we show you how to acquire the money, we have firsthand knowledge about actually how to go out there, leverage it, and use it to go do our deals. We are a nationwide company. So it doesn't matter where you're located, we can help you. And over the course of the last 14 years, we've acquired over $140 million worth of permanent funding. Think about that power. $140 million worth of revolving lines of credit that investors get to go out there and use again and again. Acquire it, leverage it, use it. We help you acquire lines of credit in your business name. These are not second position loans that we're going to be able to leverage and use on our deals. Again, this is your money. Leverage, hold on to your cash, and go do more deals. So what is an unsecured business line of credit? It's a great question. It's a line of credit in your business name, where essentially all we're doing is leveraging the strength of your good personal credit to get those funds in the business name that, again, you can go use for any working capital purpose. So whether it's down payment money, EMD, closing cost, holding costs, there's no restrictions on the use of the funds. We can use this the same as cash. Now, these are implemented by lenders all across the country. Small banks, community banks, even the large institutional lenders. Working with MB Capital, we already work with all these banks. So our real true advantage is knowing the data and the trends of the lenders. We can go out there and acquire money for you with minimizing the impact that it actually has on your personal credit. We're not shopping. When we learn a little bit more about you and we see how you're positioned credit-wise, we already know who's going to be able to give us an approval. So we can maximize funding for you with minimizing the impact on personal credit. But the true advantage to leveraging unsecured business lines of credit is even though the lender's looking at personal credit, it does not report on personal credit. So we can go leverage and max out all the money that we possibly can. It will keep us nice, bankable, and lendable on the personal credit side. Think about that refinance that Mikey talked about. Imagine them pulling credit and still seeing strong personal credit, even though you may be leveraging a lot of money in the business name. It helps you facilitate your deals, whether you're doing fix and flips or buy and holds. especially buy and holds, because the funds will be in the business name, but keep you looking bankable and lendable on the personal side. So how can a real estate investor use unsecured business lines of credit? Again, we can use it the same as cash. So whether you're using it for the earnest money deposit, for the down payment money, combine it with a hard money lender and truly 100% fund your deal. Rehab cost. A lot of people don't realize that you may need to kick off your rehab. So that first payment to your contractor, we can leverage off the line of credit till you hit your first draw mark. A lot of people don't realize that you may have to put out a little bit of cash to kick off your rehab. Even though Alpha is going to give you 100% of those funds, we may need to facilitate the start of it leveraging the line of credit. Monthly holding cost. We have to service our debt, whether it's credit cards, lines of credit to our hard money lender. We can leverage the lines of credit and unsecured funds to do that so that we don't have to dip into our own personal cash flow. Emergency funds. I talk about emergency funds all the time. Especially after COVID hit, the one thing that we learned is that the game can change in a second. How many of us were investing during COVID and all of a sudden lenders changed, we needed to have more cash, we needed to have more reserves? It happens. The more we can be prepared, the more we can have access, the more we can weather any and all storms. And then general working capital. Who doesn't need cash? Yes, you hear all the financial gurus and real estate gurus saying that you can invest with no money out of pocket, and it's true. But the fact of the matter is, we can find a lot more deals when we have access to cash. How can MB Capital Solutions help you? We've talked a little bit about what unsecured capital is, but let's get down to the nuts and bolts of exactly what we help implement for clients. When it comes to unsecured funding, there's really two different types that we're helping clients acquire. Your first is that checkbook type line of credit. I always say, think of it almost as a HELOC without the H. We don't have to collateralize anything. Again, we're using strength of personal credit and a couple of these data points to be able to get you a line of credit. Typically, when it comes to the lines of credit, we want to see 2 years in business. Now that's 2 years from when you started your business, not 2 years of activity or 2 years of tax returns. We just want to see that 2 years ago from today, you started your business. Typical underwriting time to acquire a business line of credit, anywhere from 7 to 21 days. Most lenders are going to give you a line of credit anywhere from $25,000 up to $100,000 on an individual line of credit. Where MB Capital can get creative is being able to acquire more than just one of those lines of credit. So to give you a prime example, I had a client this past week close on 3 separate lines of credit. 2 for $50,000 and a third for $100,000. That's $200,000 worth of revolving lines of credit that he can now go use to fund his deals. Now, interest rates on this type of product is credit-based. So that's why we say the stronger the credit, the better the interest rate you'll receive. But in terms of a band, interest rates fall in the range of prime plus somewhere between 1% to 4%. Prime right now, as we're recording this, is at 8.5%. Hopefully, you're watching this later on and it's come down a little bit. But if at prime plus 1 right now is 9.5%. What's really nice about these lines of credit is they're interest-only payments while we're using them. So it keeps our monthly debt service low while we're in the middle of doing a deal. So whether we're fix and flipping or if the plan is to buy and hold, knowing we have funds to come back to be able to make down the payment is a game changer. Because again, these are permanent lines of credit that we're going to be able to leverage again and again. Now the second option is a credit card model. Now, with the credit card model, this is a true game changer. We meet lots of real estate investors, and typically what we found, especially for our newbies, is that the barrier to entry is the lack of access to capital. We just don't have any cash. So with a credit card plan, what's really nice about it is you can be a brand new entity. I'm talking a day-old LLC. As long as personal credit's in the right position, we can actually leverage credit to go get credit cards in your business entity name that obviously you can use as a credit card, right? It is a piece of plastic. We can swipe it, we can buy materials, we can use it the same as a credit card. However, what MB Capital will do is actually show you multiple ways to leverage those credit cards, essentially the same as the line of credit. We coach our clients on the 3 to 5 different strategies to be able to actually liquidate a credit card into cash, put cash into our bank accounts, and go use it for whatever we need. In addition to showing you those liquidation strategies, we also work with a third-party company that as long as we have an agreement of sale on the property and the wiring instructions for the title company, they can actually pull from one or multiple credit cards and send the funds directly to the title company for a closing. So think of that power. Think of us here at MBAlpha, where you're getting 80% of the purchase price through the hard money loan and 100% of the rehab. We can actually leverage that 20% plus the rest of the cost through using a 0% credit card. How powerful can that be? That we can go actually leverage a credit card to get into a deal and not have to use any of our own cash, even being a brand new real estate investor. Now, the true benefit to the credit card model is that we're gonna have it at 0% interest anywhere from 9 to 21 months. So it's a perfect tool for us as a real estate investor, because within 9 to 12 months, typically we should be hitting our exit strategy. Whether that's flipping the property or getting into a refinance, we should have funds coming back to pay back those lines of credit and credit cards. And again, these are permanent funds. So after we pay them back, we don't lose them. We don't have to go reapply for them. We still have the access to go do it again. And not just at that initial 0% introductory period. We'll coach you and show you how to use it the right way to get these lenders to keep sending you 0% promotions again and again. I'll use myself as an example. I'm a real estate investor in Philadelphia. My last property that I bought was a $77,000 purchase price. I used all 0% credit cards to fund the acquisition and the rehab. I love the guys at MBAlpha or Alpha Funding, but unfortunately I didn't need them on that deal. I had acquired enough funds that I could self-fund the deal. But I had built up enough capital that as I grow and scale my business, I have the ability to leverage the funds that I've built in my own business name with Alpha Funding to truly go 100% fund the deals. We'll coach you on not only leveraging and using it the first time, but we'll do it again and again for you. We are a true done-for-you service. So not only will we acquire the cards for you, submit the applications, work with the underwriters, we're gonna coach you on the back end to put these funds to use. It's one thing to go acquire money for you. It's a whole nother game changer when we actually show you how to go out there and leverage it and use it again and again. Now, people will ask me, which one is better? I'm a firm believer in building up access through as many tools as we possibly can get. So if you can get the line of credit, you should definitely get the line of credit. It is also a no-brainer to leverage the credit cards. Especially right now in a high interest rate environment, I'm telling every investor that I work with that they want the 0% credit cards. And the main reason is to limit the amount of interest that we're paying on all of the funds that we're using. If I can go leverage a $50,000 line of credit, even on the high end, let's say 12%, but I can go leverage another $50,000 of 0% credit cards, well, now I'm really leveraging $100,000 at a blended interest rate of 6%. You can't go to any bank in the country right now and borrow 100 grand under prime interest. So these tools, when used correctly and built inside your funding toolbox, will allow you to go do more deals and minimize the interest that we're paying so that you can put more money in your pockets. Now, what are the requirements? I've talked about these awesome products, but how do we get them? So what we're gonna go over now is some of the requirements that we need to see to be able to acquire these types of tools. Now, people will always push and ask me, what does my credit score need to be? And the fact of the matter is, I don't care about that 3-digit score. I care more about the data of your credit report. When pushed for a response, I'll always say we want to see a 700 credit score. But the fact is, I care more about these data points than just that 3-digit number. So what does your credit look like? More than that number, I want to see how old is your credit? How much age have we built up? How long have we been leveraging credit on our personal credit? How many inquiries have we had in the last 6 or 12 months? Inquiries may not matter for certain financial products. For us, however, they do. Remember, these funds are unsecured. We're not collateralizing it with anything. So if a lender sees in the last 6 months you've had 15 or 20 inquiries, odds are that you're going to get denied. So we want to keep inquiries minimum in the last 6 months. Do we have any derogatory information? Do we have any late payments, charge-offs, collections, any of the bad stuff? If we do, we want to try and work to get that removed. Overall credit utilization. This is one that I see will kind of hold people back. How much of our credit limits are we using? Typically, what we want to see is 30% or under is that magic number. Your credit score takes the biggest hit when you go over 30% utilized. It also takes the biggest jump when we come back over. So we want to be 30% or under on our overall credit limits, revolving credit limits. Number of current trade lines, limits and history of those trade lines. I'll talk to people all the time and they'll say, hey, my mom or dad said I should only have one credit card. And that may be true for the common person. But for us as real estate investors and entrepreneurs that want to build up business capital, lenders actually like seeing that you've been able to manage multiple credit cards. Not only just have them on your credit profile, but have you been responsible enough to run the limits up and been more responsible enough to pay it down without getting any of the bad information, any of those late payments, collections? That's really what lenders are looking for. So these are really the data points that we're looking for when we're working with a client to see exactly how much capital we can get for them.
We are really excited to tell you now how you can do all of the things we just discussed. You're gonna go to www.dealswithnomoney.com. And what you're gonna find there is a wealth of information. Everything you just learned, copy of this video, case studies, reviews, everything that you wanna know about our program. You're also gonna find a one-stop shop for both MB and Alpha and combine these tools together.
The process is simple. Complete the soft pull application. The QR code will be on this next slide for those action takers that are with us right now. All you have to do is fill out that information. After you fill out that information, you will be contacted by MB Capital. We will review with you credit standing and give you a pre-qualified offer of a funding amount that we can acquire for you. Once you have that amount, you can then come back to Alpha Funding Solutions where they're gonna pre-qualify you for your deal so that you know exactly what to go out there and look for when you start looking for your deal.
And this is gonna be a seamless solution. As soon as MB has you pre-approved for your different lines of credit, they're gonna send all that information over to Alpha. And we're gonna move ahead and get you pre-qualified with Alpha as well. Once you get your funds from MB, they're gonna let us know, we're gonna get you pre-approved with Alpha, and you're gonna be prepared to go out there and 100% finance your deals and start becoming a real estate investor.
We have the fun part. We get you the money and we take care of you. You have the hard part. Go find some deals because together MBAlpha will 100% fund it.